So we got a whole bunch of Cyberverse toys that dropped on us after Wonderfest here, totally out of left field. This is according to
like you do in the toy industry.
Yeah, Kotaku.com of all places was the first ones to break this news. These are Cyberverse toys that armor up, and it's kind of similar to what was going on with Robots in Disguise 2.0 when they had their mini cons. They had this clear translucent armor that was attaching and everything, and the gimmick was similar. But this is like to a whole other level, and it almost like redeems a lot of the simplicity of a lot of these Cyberverse figures, because one of the biggest complaints that Cyberverse has is just its simplicity and stuff. And they even did a Hasbro. I think it was first quarter report they did, or not first quarter, end of 2018 report.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how Transformer sales are up, but it was thanks to they mentioned the Bumblebee movie and Generations.
Right.
And they conveniently left out Cyberverse. Now I don't know if Cyberverse didn't do well, or it's just they don't have the numbers yet or something. So and of course they were mentioning also how like Star Wars and all their other brands are down.
Yep.
But either way,
which was surprising because I remember hearing that on the radio during the business hour, the business like segment.
Yeah,
I was like, oh crap,
yeah.
I gotta keep my mouth shut and listen to what's going on.
So as it stands right now, Cyberverse has this set of toys coming, and I'll tell you one thing, they are intriguing. From number one, from some of the choices of characters, and then some of the choices of design, and what they're trying to do with those designs. We'll jump into it. So, like the first one that everyone has been talking about, and it's the one that at least caught my eye the most, is the Optimus Prime. Now, when it comes to price points with these, we don't know yet how they're going to go about this. I'm assuming that the smaller ones that aren't Optimus are probably going to be something like, again, I don't want to say a deluxe price point, but a deluxe-ish kind of size that will have the armor on the side, which will probably add to its own unique price point, some kind of gift pack. That's my assumption. But the Optimus obviously would be probably a different price point completely from all the others that we're going to discuss afterwards.
Okay.
So the Optimus here, I mean, I dig this a lot. I think he looks spectacular.
With the armor, you mean, or?
Yeah, well, with the armor, he has a very Transformers Go. Transformers Go was this Japanese-only spin-off series from Transformers Prime, which had this kind of like goldish armor kind of thing going on also. But I just dig that he's hauling the Ark, more or less.
I think that's really funny. Like the only if I had to quote
Scale
unquote complain is this, the scale is all over the place with
Scale
this.
be damned. The one question, and I mentioned this on Twitter, was like, it's cool and all, but how do you write that into the fiction? You know what I mean? Like Prime is not going to be, why is he going to be, dragging around a small little, even if you could say it's like an escape pod that's still too small, it's like
it's his escape pod that he calls the Ark, but then he can like put it on the trailer section of himself.
Yeah, but again, it looks cool when he's armored up, very Saint Seiya, very again Transformers Go kind of.
Yeah, it's very
gold.
different.
I like it a lot. And it's one of those things, when you armor up a Transformer, you could almost kind of forgive, lack of articulation in some areas or simplicity. So this Prime's going to get a pass with that just because of the uniqueness to have. There's not many Arc toys out there. There's very little. There's the Titanium, and then there was that. There was a weird Arc Transformer. I think it was Unicron Arc or something, which was a Japanese Gente or Henkei, because I think it was called Henkei.
Okay.
It's one of the Japanese Generations releases. Wasn't Legends though. But so you had a lot of weird stuff like that.
And then what about the playset Arc?
Oh yeah,
from the
true.
Movie.
Yeah, it's
from
true.
that you can put your legends in.
Yeah, it was called the Arc, but
what was the line was Cyberverse as well?
It was Cyberverse. Yeah.
Okay.
It was Cyberverse from Dark of the Moon. That was called the Ark. It was Sentinel Prime's ship, but was really more the Ark in name than it was in Generation 1 design, where this is clearly based off of that old Generation 1 design.
Yeah.
But still, really cool. I really like it a lot. Then we can move on to like Bumblebee.
I like Bumblebee's one. It's really, really cool.
What's interesting also with Bumblebee is like when you tackle that character and you go, okay, we're going to do an armor attachment for him. So how do we go about that? Like, what do we do that would make this like different for Bumblebee? And you could go, okay, maybe we could like jump into the past of like some of his other designs or something.
Where he did have a power up. What was it, the add-on kit? I think no. Oh, like animated. Animated. He had a power up version.
Yeah, well,
and
that's
then the Generations toy had a powered up like add-on.
And then you even to like the lightest degree, like the Action Master had a little thing that went on his back, you know. So it's like, you know, there's a few Bumblebees in the past that had some kind of stuff like that. This one, I don't know why. When I look at it attached to Bumblebee, I just get these, like, it's just giving me this deja vu color recognitions of Optimal Optimus. I don't know why.
But you know what it is that's attached to him, right? It's a battleship.
Yeah, it's a battleship, but it's just like when it's in the robot mode. Like
Yeah.
the way the colors sit, I mean, there's not enough orange, but it's just the way the arms are. I mean, maybe the final toy in person won't give me those reminders, but I mean, it's interesting how they went about that and stuff.
I do like the looking at his helmet that he has. The horns are more prominent on his head. You know what I mean? And then it looks like he has like a flight mask. You know, like if you're of a jet fighter, it looks like a flight mask he has. I like the helmet that he has attached to him.
And the thing is, the more deeper I look now, I'm seeing that they all have its own unique price point. These are called Elite Class. They're called Cyberverse Spark Armor Elite Class, and they're going to be $24.99 American MSRP retail. So there's our answer there for that. Except for that large Prime Arc one, they still don't have a price there. I don't see it.
You know what the Bumblebee looks like? The silhouette of it. It reminds me of what's his name? Gridman, the new Gridman that came out, and he has the armor that goes over his arms.
I see that, yeah.
You know,
I see
that's
that too.
what I'm kind of seeing.
It reminds me of that too. I do agree. Yeah, it has a similar kind of look to that.
I'm digging how it looks. I like the helmet. I like the extra arms. I remember when I was a kid, I was messing around with a lot of Legos, and I remember that's what I used to do, like make like these power armors and stuff like that. And that's something that's very, very reminiscent that I used to do. Like, I dig it. I really, 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 really dig it.
So I have pretty much the final numbers here. So what's going to happen is the characters of Prowl. Well, I'm going to be kind of spoiling what we're going to discuss up ahead here. But so Prowl, Skyfire/Jetfire, Sky-Byte.
Yeah.
They're going to be what's called the Battle Class, which is $14.99, and then Bumblebee. A form of Megatron and a form of Optimus, a different Optimus, is going to be the Elite Class, and then we're going to have the largest one, which is the Optimus, called the Spark Arc Power Optimus Prime, and that's going to be $49.99. So here we go. So there's going to be 3 different price points. It sounds like this is going to be the overall theme of the future wave, that all the price points are going to hit on that. Okay, so we'll just go back into, so that was Bumblebee. Then we have I'm just jumping all over the place, but we have I
kind of want to talk about the Sky-Byte.
Okay, so we'll talk about Sky-Byte. So number one, Sky-Byte coming back.
Yeah.
As an IP, was
personal favorite.
Absent for a very long time. Absent as a character for a very long time. There was a lot of opportunities to really use that character. Now, yes, there was a BotCon exclusive where they used that Sharkticon mold, but I'm saying from like a retail and mainstream kind of thing, that character really was absent for a very long time. So it's nice to see him back. It's nice to see him get something that isn't just like a name throw. It isn't like, oh, we just need to keep the IP, so we're just going to call something Sky-Byte. No, this clearly is, Sky-Byte. This clearly is the Gel Shark car robots / Cyber Shark Transmetal 2 design modernized. And what's cool about that is because they went that route, I mean, if they ever do want to do a repaint of this mold, you could do the Beast Wars repaint.
Yeah.
If you want, just to get a second run out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the one with the more muted colors, Cyber Shark, right?
Yeah, Cyber Shark.
Transmetal Cyber Shark.
Yeah, Transmetal 2, the greens, the blues, and the grays, which are, I mean, between the two of them, the Gel Shark / Sky-Byte is superior in every way.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone who's handled both toys, like the original Transmetal 2 had all this like molded detail on the shark body that wasn't painted, and then when they did the Gel Shark / Sky-Byte repaint, they started painting inside all those details, and it was like, wow, like why didn't they do that the first time?
Remember when I brought Sky-Byte over? I brought Sky-Byte over, and you're like, oh, let's compare the two, and we're like, look at all these details, it's insane.
I never got Gel Shark, the Japanese version, so I was never able to compare the two.
Those details were present in the American toy too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. They were both exactly the same, more or less. So I never got a chance to compare the originals before that, so it was it's pretty cool. Again, it's pretty cool to have him back. He comes with some kind of drill weapon that's very, like, to me, again, from like an obscure standpoint, there was the UK combiner team, the Rescue Force, and they had a drill guy on their team, and it kind of reminds me of that guy. But when you combine him with Skyfire, the way the colors kind of go all over the place, it kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know, like Road King from Master Force. But again, it's not a Formula One. But I'm just saying, like, the way that the final silhouette of colors kind of cascade over, and the fact that it's a drill kind of gimmick mixed with a shark, so you got like a drill shark kind of thing. Like, like there's a lot of crazy stuff going on here. Like it's a pairing of vehicle to another vehicle that don't really have parallels. Like there's nothing about Bumblebee that says battleship, you know.
Yeah.
Except for like going like, okay, well, we had Deep Dive Bumblebee and animated that was kind of an armor, and that was an underwater thing, but it wasn't really a battleship, you know. So the choices of the alt modes are really interesting for these armors too. But yeah, Sky-Byte, I mean, that's incredible. That's a really cool one to have that. And then we have like Jetfire, and Jetfire is, you know, he looks
Jetfire's
like
back again. The name is back again in Cyberverse. So we got that Generations one that we were just talking about not too long ago, and we got this guy.
And especially with this one, like the alt mode of just the regular robot is very, you know, Generation 1, you know, Furodiri Skyfire design meets the Macross boosters VF1 Jetfire design, VF1S. So that's pretty cool. But he comes with, like, again, you don't see the parallels, and you're like, okay, he comes with some kind of tan tank. And when you combine him with that tan tank, then he kind of reminds me of Demolishor from Armada.
Yeah.
Like just the way the colors are and the way it kind of, you know, it works and everything. So, I mean, that's one way I see it. I don't know if you see it
I could see it. I see what you're talking about.
And then the last one, which also, like, I almost feel like it was a bit of a missed opportunity. So you had Prowl, and Prowl turns into the police car, and he comes with some kind of, like, it reminds me of if you have 6 Turbo, which was one of the Micromaster combiner teams from back in Operation Combination from G1, when you combined all their combiner pieces together, it made this jet, like, it was a combiner team that if you took the combiner pieces and put them aside, like the fists and the head, it made a jet-like vehicle.
Right.
It's very similar to that. And also, like, one of the leader of 6 Turbo was a police car named, I think it was Road Chief, his name was.
Okay.
And so, like, I have a lot of I get that vibe from that. But then when you combine it, you know, you have those similar color schemes too. But then I'm like, oh, you know, they could have also, like, did like a throw out to, like, say, Strong Arm from Robots in Disguise 2.0. You know, because there's a lot of the blues with the whites. I mean, I don't, you know, obviously not every Transformer toy, when they do something, it's meant to be a nod to something else. But it's like I get a lot of, like, these flashbacks when I look at very specific things. And I mean, I love police Transformers because a lot of them, when they're done today, they invoke a lot of Brave designs, because Brave designs were, like, you know, way ahead of their time and almost impossible to do in toy form back in the day when Obari was doing those designs.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to, like, see, you know, police stuff that has combiner armor, because that's so, like, you know, Brave series stuff.
Right.
And then the last one of the battle class, the smaller ones, is the Starscream. Again, it's Starscream, turns into a jet, no surprise there. But he comes with a bulldozer. and the bulldozer like gives him like a gold crown and gold chest piece. Again, don't know why it's a bulldozer with Starscream. Nothing, outside of like, and it's not even like Constructicon colors either. It's more like the traditional yellow than like a Constructicon, greenish yellow. So, I mean, they're really like, I think they were just kind of going like, here, like they almost were going like, here's all the different alt modes we want to do. We want to do a construction vehicle. We want to do a jet. We want to do, we want to do something that is a water vehicle. Like I think that and then they're like, now how do we attach these to all these top tier characters? And it's like, what do you do with the water vehicle? There's no one that really, there's no top tier Transformer character that's in Cyberverse that's a water character to tie that battleship with. So like, I'll just put it on Bumblebee. Then we get to the large ones. We talked about the Bumblebee already, but you had like, again, you have the Megatron there, and the Megatron is like same thing where you look at the Megatron, you go, okay, so you have, it turns into a tank. No surprise, that's kind of how the Megatron is. But then his combiner buddy is some kind of helicopter. Now it could be, a nod to the recent Duocon combiner team. It could be a nod to maybe like Spinister. Like, there's not a lot of purple helicopters in Transformer history. So it could be just, they're just having fun. And the combiner head is like, again, it's very brave. It's very like smokescreen. Like, it's very interesting, the design. The
thing I really do like about this one is that it comes with a little Energon mace on the side there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they practically...
At least they give you that little homage right there, that little like, head nod.
The Energon mace on one side, and the other side, they make sure that one of the barrels of the helicopter becomes an arm barrel for Megatron. That's similar to his Generation 1 arm barrel cannon. So
no, I think that's the cannon that comes on top of his tank mode.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think if you look at his alt mode,
right.
His normal alt mode, and they pull it off and they put it on the side there.
Maybe it's because it's molded in the same color. So that's weird. Maybe it's just the photoshopping. And then the last one here, pretty much, is there's the other Optimus that's not the Arc one, and this one clearly. This is the one that was on purpose, which is it's an Optimus that comes with a jet accessory. So this is clearly like invoking that Revenge of the Fallen, Jet Power Optimus Prime, Jet Optimus Prime kind of thing.
Like his and his flight deck too. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, that's just it. So it's that one clearly they knew what they were doing there, and I mean it like. Due to the simplicity, these toys on their own would be boring, but having these combiner pieces to them and these armors give it a wrinkle of interestingness to them that intrigues me a lot. Like a lot of these toys, when you think about it, like a lot of these characters were kind of released on their own in Cyberverse without these armor pieces. We got a simple Optimus. Like if you we're looking at the Jet Optimus here. If you took that Jet Optimus, you got rid of that Jet armor. We had an Optimus kind of like that was released in Cyberverse last year. Same thing with the Megatron. We got a lot of these very simple releases that were done last year and the beginning of this year, and people were paying money for them. Yeah. So at least it's interesting to get these same kind of engineered toys and simplicity, but add that extra wrinkle of interestingness with the armor. Is it something incredible that you have to go out and pick up? No, but it's something that at least the mainline Cyberverse, it gives it something different that makes it interesting that people would be intrigued. Again, picking up that Sky-Byte right away. Like, for people, they might not be interested in this line, but they might be a fan of Robots in Disguise or Car Robots and go, hey, another Sky-Byte toy. That's really cool. And at the end of the day, a shark transformer, how could you argue with that? That's cool.
Yeah.
So where some of the others, I mean, if you bought practically the first wave of Cyberverse, do you really need another Starscream? Like, the fact that the armor is there is the only selling point. It's like, okay, now you have an armor to go with it, so that makes it a little more interesting. But at the end of the day, if that armor didn't come with it, that bulldozer armor, it's just really another Cyberverse Starscream, which is a simplistic design Starscream toy. So this really helps put new life into the line, do something different for the main line because of, you have the double-pronged attack here of what the Bumblebee movie stuff is doing and then what Generations is doing right now, and how could the main line be different and also tell a narrative of a story. And that's the most important thing is, too, we're watching the series right now, and there's no real indication of any of this kind of stuff being in the narrative.
Pretty much.
They're still trying just to get the ball rolling of a backstory and a history, and then to like now throw all of this in there. Oh, by the way, combiner stuff. It's like, whoa, okay. So I hope they don't do it in a Japanese way where it's just one episode just drops it all in everyone's laps and we just got to get used to it, which is, Japan is notorious for that. But at the same time, it's like, this is cool, so it would be kind of cool to at least see some of it being used. In the same way that, when we had the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters line, every character got a Beast Hunters toy, but not everyone made that transition to that design. It's kind of the same way how everyone got a Transmetal toy, but not everyone in Beast Wars became a Transmetal. So I think that they should handle it that way, where maybe 2 or 3 characters should get this kind of thing. But overall, I think that if everyone gets one, it's going to be kind of overkill.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense from a business standpoint to introduce all that kind of stuff because that way you sell the toys with the product on the show and it's an advertisement for it. But at the same time, I think from a narrative, it would be kind of overkill. Let us know what you think about this. It's a lot of crazy stuff. We've been talking a bit about it, but it's really interesting. And even the Optimus, just that arc, that's pretty cool. So let us know what you think about it. I mean, Cyberverse is kind of polarizing right now. Like, the show is pretty good, but a lot of people have not been a fan of the toys. So maybe this would be something that could come around and really get people excited about the plastic that comes from